Hello, this is Matthew Robert Payne. This is chapter 47 in uh, Comprehensive Prophets Manual. This is a chapter called um, Visions of Heaven. And I've got this chapter and the next chapter where I'm going to discuss some visions I've had of heaven. One day I was doing a prophetic word for a girl and describing something that I could see. And I was describing this wall that I could see in heaven. And this wall went up about 30 feet, and then it went beyond the smoke, but there was like smoke there. And the wall went on for 100 feet until I saw smoke, and it was smoke there. And this was years before I understand what the glory of the Lord is. In modern churches, they'll use smoke machines to uh, help with the lighting, but also to uh, do a false manifestation of the glory of the Lord. And in this vision of this wall, I could see smoke 30 feet up, and the wall disappeared, going higher, and the wall went along for about 100 feet, and then it disappeared behind the smoke, so it went longer. And I was there, and Jesus told me to put my hand into the wall. And so I put my hand into the wall, and I brought out a ball, a soccer ball worth of, uh, it turned out to be a diamond. And had this diamond in my hand. It was very heavy. And then I heard the Father say that that diamond uh, is worth, could fund the United States government for 200 years. That was years before I realized that the United States government takes about $1 trillion to run per year. So it was amazing because the soccer ball diamond was just one of thousands of diamonds in this wall. And the Father was able to say to me when I was calculating that it could run the US economy for 200 years, he said to me, "That's what we think of money up here." And I guess that uh, you could listen to what I said there and contemplate that yourself. But I think it was part of having the vision myself, and and the full ramifications of what the Father was saying that really impressed me about that vision. Another time, I was in heaven. I've seen a vision. This is the first time I had a vision of heaven. I was with this counselor, and the counselor said, "You're going to see something in your mind. Uh, Tell me what you can see." And I said, "I'm in heaven." And he says, "Really?" And he said, "What can you see?" And I said, "I can see Jesus in front of me." And he said, "What's Jesus doing?" And I said, "He's taking off his crown and he's putting it on my head." And then then he said, "What's he doing now?" I said, "He's taking off his cloak and putting it around me." And uh, he said, "What's he doing now?" And I said, "He's taking off his signet ring and he's given it to me." And then the counselor said, "What's he saying?" He says, "Come with me." and come and meet my father. And the counsellor said, are you going? And I said, no, I'm not worthy. And counsellor was able to say, Jesus' death on the cross made you worthy. And then I said I wasn't going again. And he said, why? He said, because I think God will strike me dead with the sin in my life. And the counsellor was saying, Jesus isn't going to take you in for his father to kill you. You've got Jesus' hand. You can trust him. So I went into the throne room through these big double doors, and there were thousands of people in heaven and in the throne room, and they parted. And I walked down this aisle from the people in the throne room parting. I remember I fell over 8 times, and I was lifted to my feet. There's a scripture that says that a man will fall 7 times and be lifted up. And I got to the front of the throne room, and the thrones were up high, up about 100 stairs up, and I could see a big ball of light on one of the thrones. That's how I could see God in those days. And the ball of light said, come and sit next to me. So so the counsellor was talking me through it. So I went and sat on God's right hand. I remember as I sat down on Jesus' throne, I was reminded of the scripture in Revelations that says, he that overcomes, I'll give him the right to sit on my throne, just as I sat on my father's throne. And so I felt right sitting on the throne, and God said, look at this. And he opened up the roof of heaven, the roof of the throne room, and I could see planets and stars and the galaxy, and it was all very close up. And there seemed to be planets hundreds of miles away from heaven. They were really close, and I could see all these stars. It's the clearest I've ever seen the galaxies. And God said to me, see all of this, I control all of this. And there were stars moving and stuff, and it was an amazing sight. And he said, see all of this, I control all of this. And I said, yes. And he says, I could get any one of those stars and throw it to Earth, and that would be the end of Earth. And I said, yes. And he said, he says, if I can control all of this, don't you think I can control your life? And I said, yes, I agree. And he says, why don't you give me control of your life? And that was a really profound effect on me, and it had a tremendous effect. And he had me look down, and Jesus was down the bottom of the steps, and Jesus grabbed a microphone, and you can assume it was a microphone because we see things in earthly terms. And music started, and Jesus sang the song, I could sing of your love forever. And he was singing the chorus, I could sing of your love forever. And Jesus said he dedicated this song to Matthew. And the whole of the throne room was singing, I could sing of your love forever. And they were singing about my love for Jesus and Jesus' love for me. And as Jesus sang, certain saints came up and stood before me, and I would get the saint's name, like Abraham or Moses or Noah, and the saint would bow his head at me, nod his head at me, and then walk on. and the counselor was helping me with all of this. And then finally Joseph came up and stood there, and when he nodded his head, he didn't move on. And the counselor said, what color is the cloak that Jesus gave you? And I said, white. And the counselor said, I'd have another look at that. And the cloak, I looked down, and it was a coat of many colors. So Joseph actually gave me, or Jesus gave me, the coat of many colors cloak on that day. And so that was a memorable vision of heaven. And I have remembered that, and it's been special to me for years. And it's really carried me. And I've often reminded myself when I was stuck in sin that that God promised to look after my life and take control of my life. And so it helped me with my self-condemnation, that God knows what he's doing with my life and he's in control. And so I hope as I described that vision, you could see what happened. I read a book of a famous Indian apostle, and he was taken to heaven, and Jesus showed him, God showed him the galaxies and said exactly the same thing to him. Don't you think I can control your life? Why don't you let me take control? And so it seems that multiple people have been shown the same vision, shown the same reality, and asked the same question by God. So oftentimes I'll read someone's book about heaven, and it'll be a confirmation of what I've already seen. So I hope that encouraged you.